Welcome to Straight Talk with Seth. I'm your host, Seth Campbell, and today we're going to be joined by a fellow University of Arkansas student to talk about the Career Development Center. I'm joined today by Elise Parker. Elise, what is the Career Development Center?
So the Career Development Center is a place where students can come, they can get their resume reviewed, they can be counseled by a career counselor, and it's just kind of a way for students to increase their likability of getting a job. So we help them with all aspects of finding a job, writing the resume, cover letter. We do mock interviews. If there's a career fair, usually the employers will use our facility to conduct interviews for students on campus, so it's easier for them. So just a lot of stuff that helps students get a job.
So as an intern, what do you do with the Career Development Center?
So I'm the public relations intern right now, and so what I do is I create promotional videos and just try to spread the word to the student body about the different things. A lot of times what happens, I feel like, is students are scared to come in because they don't really know how it's going to look. So it's my job to make sure that they feel comfortable coming in and they know all the services that we have to offer.
So as a student, is it just for students or can anybody come in?
It's for students, mostly undergraduate students, but graduate students also. They're trying to get their master's or get their different degrees, and then some alumni will come if they're trying to get a job. Really anyone that needs help finding a job or getting the right tools to be successful.
So how has this helped you in your career path, this internship?
Yeah, so I'm majoring in advertising public relations, so being a PR intern, I'm learning a lot of valuable skills about word of mouth advertising and about different skills that I need to market certain products and stuff like that. So that's what I've been doing.
Do you make a lot of connections?
So far I've made a lot of connections. I've learned so much about the career process and how to do that, which has really come in handy for me because as a student trying to get a job, I have this amazing access to these awesome career counselors who are helping me every step of the way. My boss actually helped me find internships, and we'll go through all this stuff and she'll connect me to different people. So it's been a very valuable resource for me.
So to people who are thinking about interning, what would you say to them?
Interning, as long as you're just putting yourself out there and you're working hard every day, and you're doing what they ask, and you just go every day, you go a little bit more above and beyond, they're going to appreciate it. Like I made a video for them and I thought it was the worst video ever, and they thought it was the best thing that they've ever seen. So just like applying yourself and making sure that every day that you're trying to make yourself better is really important.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us, and tune in next time. Welcome to Straight Talk with Seth Campbell. I'm your host, Seth Campbell, and today we are joined by a fellow University of Arkansas student to talk about the Career Development Center. I'm joined today by Elise Parker. So Elise, what is the Career Development Center?
So the Career Development Center is a place where students can come, they can get their resume reviewed, they can work on their cover letter, they can do mock interviews, we can help them find jobs, just kind of an overall helping a student be successful later in their careers.
So you said you were an intern. What does an intern do at the Career Development Center?
So I'm the public relations intern. So what I do is I'm in charge of making promotional videos, making graphics, and just kind of spreading word about the Career Development Center throughout the campus just to let students know that we're here to help them, and just kind of like, because I feel like a lot of students when they come in, they're kind of scared of the process. So making them feel like they're really comfortable with what's happening, because a lot of students don't really like to get out there.
So is this for just students or is this for anybody?
So a lot of students do come. It's more undergraduate students, but graduate students will come. We can help them with their master's, applications and stuff like that they have to go through for different schools. And then alumni can come too for if they need help finding a job. It's really for anyone who's ever come to the Career Development Center or been in the University of Arkansas, we can help them.
So do you make a lot of connections with your job?
Yeah, I've made a lot of connections so far. It's been really helpful and really nice that my boss just kind of like helps me a lot throughout the process. She works with me on my resume. She works with me on finding jobs. We've been really trying to connect with different people and helps me with tips for career fairs and stuff like that. So it's definitely been a good resource for me.
Do students have to have their resume already made to go and see people at the Career Development Center?
No, we can definitely start it from scratch. The hardest part for a lot of students is not having any experience to put on their resume, and they don't know how to showcase themselves. So that's one of the things that we work on. It's just taking the experiences they do have and really enhancing them. But we can definitely just start from scratch.
So how has this internship helped you in your future career?
Well, I mean, I've learned a lot of really valuable resources, especially on the PR side because I'm majoring in advertising and public relations. But honestly, it's helped me more of just learning how to be professional, learning how to sell myself to employers, and I think that's been the most valuable part of it so far.
So to people that are thinking about whether or not they should intern, what would you tell them?
Well, interning is a really valuable experience, and it's something that really enhances your resume, and a lot of employers look for previous internship experience. So I would say, get out there, try to apply to as much as you can, and really try to utilize yourself.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us, and please tune in next time.
Hello, I'm Katherine Hill, the host of Holiday Happiness. Today we have a jam-packed show, and with that we bring in Emily Bart. Emily, what is your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday is definitely Christmas.
And why is that?
It's my favorite holiday because it's just really a time when families get together. Like, you may not have seen your family for like years or like months on end, and then everyone comes together for the holidays, and so it's just a special time.
So do you have any special traditions that you do with your family?
Well, I have family that lives in Alabama, and then my brother lives up north, and so they always come down to Texas, where my family lives, and we just hang out with each other, and then after we open presents, we all help my mom in the kitchen, and so yeah.
So those are what you do on Christmas Day. Do you do anything special on Christmas Eve?
On Christmas Eve, we all go to the 11 o'clock at night church service at my church, which is like all the lights are off and everyone just has candles, and so the candlelight service is like my favorite thing to do.
What has been your favorite Christmas gift so far?
I don't really know. I like any gift that, like, my brother always gets us the best gifts. Like, we're not super close, but he always pulls himself together and gets us all really good gifts. Just something special, not anything big or extravagant, but something that has like meaning to us.
So you said you go to church with your family. Is that your favorite aspect of Christmas, or is the Santa aspect your favorite aspect?
I definitely like the religious aspect. I'm a pretty religious person, I would like to say, and so going to church and spending that time with my family is like the best part of the holiday.
Who is your favorite reindeer?
Rudolph.
Why is Rudolph your favorite reindeer?
Because he has this like really good movie, I guess.
Okay, thanks for joining us on Holiday Happiness, and tune in next time.
Welcome back to the chat. I'm here with Delaney Majors as we talk about just how much AOPI has influenced her life. So Delaney, what was the feeling that you got on bid day when you opened it and it said AOPI?
Bid day was really special to me because my sister was an AOPI too, so going through recruitment, I always kind of had an eye out on them. So opening that bid card, like literally the first thing I did was text my sister and was like, oh my gosh, like we're the same, and it's like so cool. It's like, oh, we're sisters now, but like it really is cool to like be able to share that with her. So that was a lot of fun for me.
Would you say that you've made lifelong friends through AOPI?
Oh yeah, I mean the friends I have, I know they're like girls that I'm gonna be friends with forever. My two roommates are some of the best friends like I've ever made. Like my friend Jillian is just somebody who is so thoughtful, always there for me. And even girls that I'm not like as close with, I feel like everybody in there I can talk to and be friends with and like have a connection with. So that's really cool.
Will you always cherish being a member of AOPI even after you graduate?
I definitely think I will. It's 100% about the experience and what you put into it. Not only has it been a fun experience like socially and making friends, it's also been something that really has shaped me because I've taken on a lot of leadership roles. So the lessons I've learned really are something that I can take with me into the future, and just working with a team and working for like a greater good, like with 300 girls is a lot. So I definitely think I've learned a lot of lessons from that.
And I saw recently where you got head of recruitment. Mm-hmm. So what role will head of recruitment be?
Yeah, head of recruitment, well, ours is like technically like VP of membership recruitment. It doesn't really matter, but the name. But it's like super cool because it's such a huge responsibility, and it's something I didn't think that I'd be the first choice, but then our recruitment chair was like, I really think you should do it. I really think you'd be great at it. And it ended up being something where again, it was like my friend Jillian, she was like, Delaney, like this situation has fallen to your lap, like you need to take it. I was really nervous about it, but I'll be able to, I pretty much plan recruitment with we have a committee, so I'll have a whole committee to help me plan recruitment. And during the whole week, I run the parties and just make sure it all goes smoothly and plans it out. So it's really fun to be able to know that the membership recruitment for the next year is kind of in my hands. I mean, not completely.
Yeah.
Obviously, 300 girls are helping me, but to know that I'm leading my whole sorority in that's a really huge honor to know that they trust me with that and think I can do that. So I'm really excited.
And the last question I have is, y'all's house is beautiful. How is it living in the AOPI house? What is that experience that you get living in your sorority house?
It's so much fun. I love it. It's another thing where I feel immensely more connected to the girls because I live there. Because I mean, I'm literally in AOPI. I'm living there. I'm a part of it. So it's been really fun to always have someone to eat lunch with, always have someone to go run an errand with. And I mean, it's only made me closer to the girls in-house. So it's been another great experience to really connect and feel that love. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you, Delaney. That'll do it all for tonight on the chat. Tune in tomorrow night as I sit down with Moses Kingsley and we talk about future in basketball. I'm Madison McClung.
Hi, welcome back to the Delaney Daily Show. I'm your host, Delaney Majors. Tonight we end our show with an interview with Mary Blanchard. So Mary, tell me a little bit about what you did this summer.
This summer I worked as a judicial foreclosure specialist at my dad's law firm. And basically what that means is I logged papers to the court website that they would then file to the bank website, which would get these homes foreclosed on when people would default on their payments.
So how did you get this job exactly?
I got this job because I did not give myself enough time to get myself a summer job. So my dad helped me out and got me a job at his law firm.
Okay, is this a job that you like, that you're interested in?
No, I absolutely hated it. It was a terrible job. I did not like what I was doing every day. It was so boring. I was in a cubicle from 8:30 to 5 every day, Monday through Friday. I really disliked my coworkers as well. And I was easily the youngest person within like 5 miles of this office. I was the only college age student there. Everyone else was like an adult, like with a mortgage and stuff. Yeah.
So did you learn like anything from it though?
I can't really tell you anything about the actual foreclosure process because I tried to only learn what I was supposed to do. I didn't really try to learn anything else, but I did learn how to work with people that I didn't like, and it was my first experience in the real world in that kind of job. And if anything, this job really motivated me to work hard in school and stay in school and not settle for anything that I don't want to do, because it was such an eye-opening experience. Like, I do not want to work in a cubicle after I graduate. So
Going off of that, what exactly do you want to do?
I would love to work as an event planner. That's what my mom does, and I have watched her do this for years, and she loves it, and I love that kind of thing too. I love decorating, I love planning things like this, so anything more creative I would love to do, but this job was just so boring. Like, there was no room for anything fun. It was just very dry.
Right.
So.
Is there a certain job you want to end up with, an end goal?
Honestly, the end goal would be to be a stay-at-home mom. That's how my mom was. She raised like all 5 of my siblings at home. We were just lucky enough to be able to do that. But until then, I would love to just be an event planner. I would love to work with my mom if that's possible. And my sister wants to do this too. So it'd be kind of fun if we did like a little family business thing.
That would be a lot of fun. So I think that's all we have time for today. Thanks for coming on the show. That will be the end of the Delaney Daily Show for today. Make sure you catch back tomorrow. I'm Delaney. I did not know how to end that.
Welcome to The Point After. I'm your host, Elise Parker, and tonight on the show, we're here with Seth Campbell talking about his job with intramural sports. Seth, thanks so much for coming on the show today. So tell me, how did you get this job with the intramural sports?
Well, it happened that I was at home over Christmas break, and I was really bored with just the previous semester, not really doing a lot. So I was like, oh, I got an email. I was like, oh, I can be an intramural official. So I decided to be an intramural official, and it's really just grown from there.
So what previous experience do you have with sports?
I played basketball in high school. I played baseball in high school. I played football in high school. So I have a lot of experience playing the sports. So I thought this would be an easy job to make money at.
Walk me through your typical day at work.
Well, you show up, you got to show up before everybody else shows up. So 30 minutes before game time is normally what you do. And then you really have to meet who is on your crew. Because if you don't have good communication with the people that are on your crew and you don't even know their name, then how are the participants going to trust you? So you have to really learn their names, take time to know the people, and then you start checking people in after that.
So talking about your crew, what is your relationship with your team members?
Well, you normally have a good relationship. You're put into various group meetings and stuff like that with the supervisors and then other officials so that you get to know each other. And so that way you can really work to get well together.
What other extracurricular activities are you involved in?
I work for Razorback Sports Network, and then I like to play intramural sports. I have a SAM volleyball team and a basketball team.
So it seems like with school you stay pretty busy. How do you balance all of that?
It's really just about time management. I have to get a planner because I never had a planner before I got to college, but then I realized that I kept on forgetting things, and so I really had to get everything, and as soon as if I have a game in intramurals or I have work, that I have to write it down so that way I'll remember it.
What's your favorite part about your job?
Interacting with people, interacting with officials, and really just seeing the impact you can have on other people's lives.
Yeah. Seth, thank you so much for coming on the show today. That's all the time we have. With that, I'm Elise Parker, and the point after is good.
Hi, welcome to Talk Time. I'm Emily Bart, your host. I'm talking with a fellow Razorback today about she and her sister's relationship. So Catherine, I know you and your sister are close. How many years apart are you?
We are 2 years apart. I'm 21 and she's 19.
Does she still live at home?
No, she actually started her first year at college.
Where does she go to college?
She goes to the University of Texas. So we live in Dallas, and that's in Austin. So that's about 3 hours away from home for her, which is 5 for me.
What do you miss most about being at home together?
We actually shared a room when we lived at home together, so which sounds kind of weird, but it's actually really fun. And I miss a lot the most is a lot of times at night we stay up and talk just about like random stuff, whether it's like catching up on the day or like gossiping about family issues. It was always something. So having that not in college is weird.
So what is it that makes you guys like most alike?
We definitely have the same mindset on a lot of things. Like whether it's handling situations like with boys or even just like school or friends, we relate a lot on the same level.
Do you think she looks up to you?
Yes, I definitely think she does.
How often do you guys talk?
We talk every day, whether it's texting or on the phone or like through Snapchat. Like we don't go like a second without talking. Like I think right now she's probably like blowing up my phone.
When is the next time you're going to be able to see her?
This Thanksgiving, so in a couple weeks, and we're both excited.
Do you guys have similar hobbies?
Yeah, we both grew up playing the piano, which is pretty similar because, and a lot, actually our grandmother is one who is our piano teacher, and there's 10 grandchildren, and we all grew up playing the piano together. So, and we've actually played songs together, so we've done like duets, and so sometimes it get hard like both practicing the piano, and sometimes there's a little competition, but other than that, it was fun both having that hobby that we shared together.
Well, that'll do it for today's show. I'm your host, Emily Bart. We'll see you tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome back to the Delaney Daily Show. I'm your host, Delaney Majors. Today we're going to be talking with a student, Madison McClung. So Madison, you're a broadcast major. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, so I'm a broadcast major here at Arkansas, and really, I'm a sophomore, so I'm really just learning the basic key things that go into broadcasting. Yeah.
What led you to this major?
So ever since I was a little girl, I would always like run outside and get the mail before like anybody else could, and always had the newspaper, and I would read it or try to read it. And then I would go into my parents' room and wake them up, and I'd tell them, this is what happened in the news today, and I'd try to report it. And then my dad and I would sit down, and my dad would video me, and I would act like I was a news reporter. And I don't know, it's just always been something that I've loved to do. A lot of people say that I have a very open personality, that was always something that I should look into doing. And so I'm here, and I love it, and it's awesome. It's everything. So
At what point did you officially decide that this would be your major?
So actually coming into college, I wanted to do education. My mom's a teacher, and I love kids, don't get me wrong, they're great. And I just really thought, okay, like, you know, this is where I'm supposed to be. And I liked education, and then I got a job working at an after-school program, the new school, and I realized that I like kids, but I don't like kids in a classroom setting. And I realized that that's just not where I was supposed to be. And so I went back and I really prayed about it, and I just said, God, you know, help me figure out which way to go major-wise. And I switched to broadcast, and I've loved it ever since.
What do you think you want to do in the future?
Well, my dream job would to be on E-News. Love E-News. I would love to interview celebrities on the red carpet places. But mostly just like weather. I'd love to do the weather. Really anything broadcast I would be willing to do.
Awesome. Well, that's about all we have time for today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Catch us tomorrow night, and we will have another interview with another Arkansas student. Good night.
Hi, and welcome back to Mary's Morning Show. I'm Mary Blanchard, and I'm sitting here with Delaney Majors. Delaney, how would you describe your feelings going into your freshman year at Baylor?
Going into Baylor, even the first nights before, I remember that night before moving, I already had like knots in my stomach. I was really nervous. The week leading up to it, I was already looking at different colleges to go to. Even driving up, I was excited because I think I knew I was supposed to be excited, but I definitely didn't feel it in the way I wanted to necessarily.
So how would you describe your freshman year at Baylor compared to the typical college freshman year that you hear about?
I think the Baylor typical freshman experience is different anyways, just because it's a different culture. But for the most part, on the outside, I think my experience looked very normal. I was posting on social media, I had friends, I was going to events, I was joining groups on campus. I did all the things, all the requirements people tell you to do, but on the inside I would still come home and just be miserable. I'd go hang out with my friends and come back and call my mom and cry because I hated it. So I definitely think on the outside I looked normal, but on the inside I knew something was wrong.
So if you were able to pinpoint one thing about Baylor that made you want to switch, what would that be?
I think it really comes down to, one, I didn't like the culture, which is just a personal preference, but two, it really came down to the fact that I wanted to be a broadcast major, and their program for that just wasn't what it needed to be. I needed a program that offered me more experience, and it just wasn't going to give me what I wanted.
So were your parents supportive of you wanting to stay at Baylor for a whole year, or were they going to let you switch at semester if you wanted to, or how did that all work out?
They really were super supportive. They let me decide when I wanted to switch, how I wanted to switch, where I wanted to go. I just decided to stay the full 2 semesters because I officially decided at Thanksgiving, and I really didn't want to rush it and go second semester somewhere because I really wanted to take my time, decide where I wanted to go, decide where was best, because I really just didn't want to make a mistake again.
So what about Arkansas made you decide to come here compared to other schools that you might have looked at?
Well, I really knew I wanted to go to an SEC school. I really wanted that college town experience, and the SEC schools I was looking at, Arkansas was really the only one that offered me substantial enough scholarship to make it happen, because if I was going to SEC, I was going out of state because I'm from Texas, because I wasn't going to go to A&M. So out of the schools I wanted to, I loved Arkansas, I loved the environment, and they had a good program and scholarship, so it just kind of all really fell into place.
And even though you didn't like Baylor when you were a student there, what is one positive lesson that you learned there that you can take away and use for the rest of your life?
Baylor was a really hard first year, but I definitely think it showed me that I am a person that's going to go for what I want, and if I'm in a situation that I don't like, I have the power to change it, and I should change it. I know how to change it, and it doesn't matter what other people are going to say, because there was a time I was worried about opinions, but
to just go for it, do what you want, because there's no other better time than now.
All right, thank you, Delaney. And that's all the time we have for tonight. Join us tomorrow on Mary's Morning Show. Thank you.
Welcome back to the chat. Tonight I sit down with Elise Parker and we get into deep about just how it is having a relationship in college. So, how is it having a relationship in college? What is the one thing you would tell freshman girls about having a boyfriend in college?
Having a boyfriend in college is really nice. It's just always good to have a friend there, you know, like if I'm down or if I'm just bored, like I can always hang out with Garrett. But to advise for freshman girls, I mean, sometimes I regret having a relationship in college because I didn't get to go and meet people. But at the same time, it's been really fun, just like having that go-to person all the time.
So would you say Garrett is something that is a positive row in your college experience?
Yes, absolutely. Garrett really challenges me to study and really pushes me to my limits and makes sure that I'm always, staying on track. And the same me for him, making sure that, we're going to class or just the little things like that. And we have study breaks to the library, and just like having that connection is really nice, especially coming into your first year in college when you don't know that many people and you don't have that many friends yet. It's really good to have someone that you can always go to.
Was Garrett someone that you had been in a relationship before college, or did you meet in college?
No, we actually started dating our sophomore year in high school, and so we were actually next door neighbors. That's how we met. We were just out getting the mail one day, and he was playing around. I was like, oh, hey, and we went to high school, and we both played soccer in high school, and so we just started dating ever since, and then here we are.
Would you say his decision to go to Arkansas reflected your decision to go to Arkansas?
Well, we both had talked about how we didn't want to follow each other. That's not how I'm very self-driven, and I don't rely much on other people. So that was something that really for me that I didn't want to do, is rely on him to have fun in college or to have a good college experience. So I decided to go to Arkansas, and he had an offer to play soccer at Austin College in Texas, and decided that that's not what he wanted to do, and that Arkansas had all the things that he wanted. So we both ended up here, and it's been great.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to the chat. Tune in tomorrow night. I'm Madison McClung. Oh, that was bad, but whatever.
No, that's fine.